Hey guys, so today we're here with Cliona O'Halloran. Cliona is a well-being coach. She's doing some incredible things at the moment, working with so many people, really helping people transform themselves. So it's a pleasure to have you with us today.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so delighted to be part of your movement.
Thank you so much. So I suppose we'll just jump straight in. And could you, I suppose, just tell us a little bit about what was like for you growing up?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I grew up in a stereotypical Irish family. Myself, my mom, my dad, my sister, we had goldfish, terrapins. And from the outside, kind of looking in, Stephen, we looked, I suppose, like the Waltons. You know, we went on our 2.5 holidays a year. My dad drove a nice car. You know, we were, I suppose, materially stable. The emotional environment in which I grew up was far from that. When I look back and I reflect, and my parents are fantastic, like they really are such amazing people. They didn't have the emotional maturity to navigate and really teach me, I suppose, the foundational understanding of what it is to be kind of emotionally intelligent. So it was a bit of a turbulent household. There were challenges that they would have faced in their marriage, which would have directly impacted us as children. So I look back and, with the greatest of respect and appreciation, because I now have a daughter myself and I understand the challenges that it does have. It was a fantastic childhood, but emotionally probably unstable.
Yeah. And did that affect you then when you were throughout your school at all, or if you had any challenges in around those?
Well, I'm an extremely sensitive person. Like, there's different categories of people. Like a highly sensitive person, I'm totally one of them, a total empath. So I would have always been very attuned to the feeling of stuff. So if there was any kind of a negative energy or stuff like that, I would really, really feel that. Did it impact me? Like, looking back, probably at the time, it was normal to me, so I suppose I didn't. But later in life, definitely, when I would have come up with challenges around, emotional connection or emotional challenges, I definitely would have learned some unhealthy behaviours that I suppose you learn from your environment, you become a product of them, that definitely would have influenced how I was showing up in that space. So yeah, I suppose from an emotional, the way of navigating my own emotional relationships with other people, that definitely has been a theme for me in my life. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So even looking at those different challenges and saying that you're a highly sensitive person, how would people kind of know if they're a person like that? Because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people listening and that they could be going through this, they could be going through different emotions, and maybe they're just a highly sensitive person.
Absolutely. Well, for me anyway, I knew things really impacted me, so I could watch something on television, and if it was to do with maybe violence or someone being mistreated, I would really feel the emotion and the intensity of that as I was watching it. I was very sensitive to what I was exposing myself to. Even I could walk into a room, and if there had been an argument, I'd automatically, intuitively know there's tension here. Another really good indicator, if you're speaking to someone and they're telling you something and it's a lie, it's just that intuitive kind of knowing, and just it's a sensory experience.
Okay.
And it's very sensory, just a feeling.
Yeah. And is that something that you try to learn how to control yourself? That if there's stuff happening around you, learn how to be able to step back and not let it affect you as much? Or
absolutely, it's something I've really had to kind of, on my journey and stuff, really had to hone in on and try and master, really. Or I suppose, the emotional intelligence, it's not something that's really taught in school. As a society and a culture, I don't know, do we place much value on emotional intelligence when really it's what kind of governs our whole being? It's how we navigate life, really. and we're being left. It's being left to the family to really educate people in how to become emotionally mature, emotionally resilient, and unfortunately a lot of families just aren't equipped with these skills. So it definitely has been a huge area of interest for me, because the experiences I've had in life, I learned and was conditioned into being very reactive to them, through anger, through avoidance, through blame, through kind of suppression of how I was feeling because of how I learned to navigate that kind of growing up. And so it's been such an inward journey of self-exploration to actually allow myself be within a feeling, and bring in all the well-being tools and aspects into my life so that I can be a container for that feeling and actually start to introspectively say, okay, what's going on here? What am I believing about XYZ that's creating this frustration in me, this anger, this low mood, this anxiety, and that's been a real journey. And I'm almost 35, and I'm still on that journey. But it definitely, like, by incorporating all of the well-being tools and stuff into my life, it's really created a more harmonious state of being. I'm not as consumed by the emotions as they arise now. I could be calm within the storm. I know it's really cliched, but it really does allow you that space.
So it allows you to basically control who you are, rather than letting the surroundings control you.
Absolutely, as we all know, we only have control of how we show up in the world. We can't control the circumstances around us, and by being able to, and I wouldn't even say that's about controlling yourself. I feel that's about becoming more of who it is you are when you were kind of like a child. When you look at children, and they're like absolutely vibrant with life. They're oozing with confidence. They're very in the moment, and they're not worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow, or oh my god, what did I do yesterday. They're very present in life. So it's really, I suppose, touching back into that natural state of being. I know it's maybe not our normal state of being now, and we'll go into that there in a minute with regards what takes us out of that state of being, but it's really about touching back in with that, the way that really is a natural state of being, which is very much grounded in the present moment, aware and conscious of our surroundings and ready for any challenge that arises, and being calm within that moment.
Okay, brilliant. No, because what's kind of coming into my head straight away when you're talking there is the challenges of a teenager. I know for me, I found it really hard. I went through a lot of stuff. My parents split up. I had all these different emotions and stuff that I was going through, and I found it really hard to basically understand who I was. So Cliona, how do you feel the challenges that you faced as a teenager compared to the challenges that teenagers are facing today?
Well, I was a teenager almost 20 years ago. So, I suppose really if you look at what's kind of gone on in society in the last 20 years, and really I suppose the challenges I would have had maybe as a teenager and in school, as if I was experiencing maybe trouble at school or whatever, I could go home and literally shut off from that experience until 9 o'clock the next morning. Whereas, in modern day society, we have these little devices called phones, smartphones, where, as great as technology is, it really does fuel a lot of what I see, especially for teenagers, are the complexities around, comparison, which can very much fuel and lead, depression, and, why is that person more ahead in life than me, even though we do all realize this is a snapshot and filter of a person's moment in their life. And also, the neurological and the physiological things that being constantly on a device or a phone creates such a fight or flight response within your system. And a lot of what we're seeing today is especially the generation of teenagers that use iPhones and smartphones now have been exposed to adults using them, so they're after learning this behaviour that's so normal to be attached to a device, and we're only really seeing the impact of that at the moment, and the compulsion and the addiction and the constant reliance on a device. It impacts your social skills, it impacts your developmental skills emotionally. I'm finding, especially, you know, I have friends who have teenagers and stuff, and their resilience levels aren't as high. They're not as able to deal with the challenges that arise in their lives due to being so distracted, and due to having higher anxiety levels, higher depression levels, which are very much fueled around the use of an addiction and compulsion to use technology. And as well as that, like when I was a teenager, when, you know, like it was very much, our life was very much centered around being outdoors, you know, playing, connecting with other people one-on-one. Whereas I'm seeing a lot now, I even see groups of kids walking down the road and they're chatting and they're talking to each other through looking at a device. There's less social engagement.
Yeah.
We as a species need and rely on connection. It's one of our core foundations to well-being.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. Like you even see that with my stepson. Even I was asking him, is he going to go? The other day when the sun was shining, I said, go out and play with your friends. He's like, no, I am playing with my friend. I was like, what do you mean? He was online playing a game with each other.
Totally.
And obviously that's going to constantly relying on your technology. It's obviously, like you said, it can lead to depression, anxiety, losing your social skills and stuff.
Absolutely.
So it is something that really needs to be looked at.
Absolutely.
So I suppose, like, even like, what kind of tips or tools can you give with people that are feeling depressed or do feel like they have some anxiety?
Well, I suppose realise and note that it's okay not to be okay. And I know as cliched and all of that sounds, but it's just an indicator that something in your life is out of alignment, you know, and our feelings are just little warning codes that, you know, you need to look at how you're showing up for yourself, how you are minding yourself. Number one, speaking to someone. You know, getting support and talking things out with someone is vital. Having a look at your own kind of social network. Who are the people you can rely on and that you can have a good chat to, and hold each other kind of, like, you know, accountable and stuff. Like you and I, we meet up for chat sometimes just to check in, you know, that's so important. Setting boundaries on the amount of time and energy you are giving to a technology, to social media, to a device. Are you spending more time connecting with people virtually, or are you getting enough human-to-human connection? Really important. Exercise, you know, get moving. You know, emotions are energy in the body, they want to shift and move. So the likes of depression and anxiety are stagnant energy in the body. They're indicators that they need to move and shift. So exercising, I would always recommend to people who maybe would have a tendency to be more in the lower mood cycle, so depression, to do something that's going to move and lift that energy up. So something maybe high intensity, a bit of weightlifting. Again, for someone who's more maybe prone to being a little bit anxious, that's very high energy in the system. So, you know, it's certainly, you're not going to want to put more stress in the body by, you know, putting like a lot of weight training and stuff. So maybe looking at things like maybe yoga or Tai Chi, or just some gentle movement and exercise to calm the nervous system. Getting out in nature, absolutely amazing. Nature is so healing. I get out in nature every single day. Take your shoes and socks off. It's called grounding. It earths the energy in your body and starts to help to recalibrate and reharmonize that energy in your system. Another really, really great tool that I use is journaling. Yeah. So starting to become and develop and integrate more awareness into your day around, you know, what are the situations, who are the people, what are the types of things that alter and shift your mood or your state of being. and start to notice the patterns, and then you can create strategies for yourself how to protect yourself in those spaces or remove yourself from those spaces.